I'll keep on blaming the machine. Yeah, I'm talking about it, talking about it. I can't complain about it. I gotta keep my balance and just keep dancing on it. We getting funky on the scene, and you know about it. Like a star on the screen, watch me tip all on it. Now, baby, whether I'm high or low, baby, whether you're high or low, you got to tip on the tightrope. Yeah, tip on the tightrope. Baby, baby, whether you're high or low, baby, whether you're high or low, tip on the tightrope. Baby, let me see your tightrope. Another day, I take your pain away. Some people talk about you like they know all about you. When you get down, they doubt you. And when you tip it on the scene, yeah, they talking about it. Cause they can't tip on the scene, what you talk about it. Talking about it. When you get elevated, they love it or they hate it. You dance up on them haters, keep getting funky on the scene while they jumping around you. They trying to take all of your dreams, but you can't allow it. Cause baby, whether you're high or low, or whether you're high or low, you got to tip on the tightrope. Tip on the tightrope. Baby, baby, whether you're high or low, baby, whether you're high or low, you got to tip on the tightrope. Now let me see you do the tightrope. And I'm still tipping on it. See, I'm not walking on it or trying to run around it. This ain't no acrobatics. You either follow or you lead. Yeah, I'm talking about you. I'll keep on blaming the machine. Yeah, I'm talking about it. Talking about it. I can't complain about it. I gotta keep my balance and just keep dancing on it. We getting funky on the scene, and you know about it. Like a star on the screen, watch me tip all on it. Now, baby, whether I'm high or low, baby, whether you're high or low, you got to tip on the tightrope. Yeah, tip on the tightrope. Baby, baby, whether you're high or low, baby, whether you're high or low.
Muy buenas tardes. Gracias por acompañarnos a este segundo track temático de IAB Conecta 2014 dedicado al tema del liderazgo. Para dar inicio a este tema, quisiera compartirles una breve reflexión o unas breves frases que, por ejemplo, Warren Bennis, catedrático en temas de liderazgo para la Universidad del Sur de California, citaba. Warren decía, el liderazgo es la capacidad de convertir una visión en algo real. Que si lo complementamos también con otra frase célebre de John F. Kennedy, citando el mismo tema, era liderazgo y aprendizaje son indispensables entre uno y otro. Y estas dos píldoras de sabiduría, si los podemos llamar así, son una invitación a reflexionar que este proceso de evolución y convergencia que empresas e industrias están viviendo por completo en la transformación de sus modelos de negocio y estrategias de comunicación es todo un reto. Y para dar inicio a este tema de leadership, me gustaría invitar a Sergio Vélez para hacer la introducción de nuestro primer conferencista de este track. Sergio Vélez es director del sector CPG, Auto y Telco en Google, quien nos compartirá una breve noticia y hará junto con nosotros la introducción precisamente de nuestro siguiente conferencista. Sergio, gracias, bienvenido.
Gabriel, muy buenas, ¿cómo estás? Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Pues Gabriel, en primer lugar agradecerte la oportunidad de participar aquí con todo este extraordinario auditorio de IAB Conecta. Felicitarlos porque verdaderamente es impresionante cómo año tras año ustedes ponen el estándar muy arriba, lo superan y así seguimos. Es liderazgo. Gracias. Eso es liderazgo y no otra cosa. Y hablamos de liderazgo, entonces qué mejor que poder compartir con ustedes el día de hoy el conocimiento, la profundidad de innovación de un auténtico líder. Y nosotros como Google México pues estamos verdaderamente fascinados de poder contar hoy con la presencia de Jim Lecinski. Jim Lecinski es oficialmente nuestro VP de Soluciones al Cliente e Innovación. La realidad de las cosas es que Jim es uno de los líderes de pensamiento y una de las personas que ha forjado la revolución digital. Jim lleva con nosotros casi 9 años. Antes de eso ha estado en todo el mundo de la publicidad, en agencias de primerísimo nivel como Young & Rubicam o DBB. Y Jim, pues no solamente ha escrito uno de los libros más influyentes dentro del ámbito de la mercadotecnia digital. Ustedes conocen The Zero Moment of Truth, donde precisamente pues revoluciona Jim el modelo de cómo el consumidor se acerca a las marcas, se acerca a sus decisiones de compra. Este libro lo han leído entre tanto más de 300,000 mercadólogos, muchos de ustedes entre ellos. Así que pues no extraña que Jim sea no solamente pues nuestro VP de soluciones y de innovación, sino también miembro del Consejo Directivo de Innovación, Publicidad y Mercadotecnia de las instituciones líderes del mundo, como son Wharton, como es Northwestern University, y también profesor de la Escuela de Negocios de Darden en la Universidad de Virginia. Así que pues un gran líder para un evento de líderes como IAB y todos ustedes.
Así que muchísimas gracias y recibamos con un muy fuerte aplauso a Jim Lecinski, precisamente para compartirnos su primera conferencia. Gracias, bienvenidos.
Gracias.
Hola, buenas tardes, good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you to the IAB for the kind invitation to come and speak with you. And thanks to all of you for spending time to dedicate yourselves to becoming digital leaders in the future. And that is indeed our theme for this next session, is being digital leaders and leadership in digital. So I'm going to talk a little bit about 5 ideas that hopefully you can take back with you that are very practical ideas in our experience at Google, working with our customers, with many of you, throughout not only the Latin American region, but all around the globe, 5 ideas that we think can help make you a digital leader. And those start with this notion of winning the moments that matter in the new normal. And so what do I mean by the new normal? The new normal. Well, we all knew what the old normal was. The old normal was the way that we all learned to do media, marketing, advertising, communications, and media planning. But the world obviously has changed, as you are all well aware, and you've all been talking about throughout the course of this conference this morning and this afternoon. It is at a tipping point. In the Mexican market and in the Latin American market in particular, we are at that key tipping point where internet penetration, internet usage, and time spent is now roughly at the 50% mark. Whatever numbers you like, numbers that I see say about 50% internet penetration in the Mexican market. That brings it about equal to the Brazilian market. About half the people are connected, and that will go to something like 65 million of the 118, 120 million Mexican population next year. So that will be a change, the point where more people are connected than people who are not connected. We are right at that tipping point. And it's not just about being connected, it's about the time spent online. TV time per day on average in Mexico, what numbers you see, what numbers you like. I see about 5 hours per day average, and those who are connected and online in Mexico are spending about 5 hours per day. So we're at the tipping point not only in penetration and access in Mexico and all of Latin America, we're at the tipping point in terms of time spent. So think about what that means for each of us as people in the marketing, media, and communications business, being digital leaders, where now we're not sort of the afterthought or the minority or the small portion of time spent or the small portion of the population, but now we represent the majority of the population. What we do as digital leaders represents the majority of time spent each day. That changes how we think about what we do, and it changes about how we should be marketing. And this trend is only going to continue on an upward basis. I have only one data chart to share with you today, and that is this. This is a global representation of internet IP traffic globally happening per month on a time series measured in petabytes. And what you can see is that it is growing a little bit in the business segment. When I talk about time spent online, often advertisers will say to me, yeah, sure, but that's people at work. That's businesses being online for their company work. That's not my target audience. That's not my consumer. Well, actually it is. You see the blue line, the one that goes up and to the right, is consumer usage. And that will continue to grow as Mexican access moves from 50 million to 60 million to 70 million to 80 million people, and the population penetration moves to 50, 60, 70%, just as we're seeing here. And so as it's moving in this exponential rate, we need to think about what we need to do to be a digital leader in a world where everyone and everything is online. Now, when I was a young man and I went to concerts, it looked like the picture on the left. My son, who's now almost 19, goes to a concert. He was at the big Lollapalooza concert in Chicago where I live last week, and he brought back a picture and it looks like this. So this is the new normal. This is just what everyone does. And so with this constant access and constantly being connected, what does that mean for us as brand marketers in the world of the new normal? New normal also means some things that we thought we knew and some things that we thought we understood have become radically different and radically changed. You may be familiar with our Google Chromecast device. I have 3 of these that I use, 2 at home and 1 when I travel, but it's a very terrific way to get my video content from my tablet onto a TV screen. And that's how we think about that, but it also works the other way. I can now get TV shows on my tablet and tablet video on my TV. This is the world of the new normal. What does that mean for us? Other things that we thought we knew are rapidly evolving. Google Maps. I used Google Maps to get to the conference center here today. Thank you to Google Maps for guiding me to this location. And we know that as a great way of finding our way around in the physical world outside. But within the past year, we've additionally started mapping indoor locations, Home Depot stores globally, IKEA stores globally, college campuses and universities all around the world are mapped on Google Maps. This is now the new normal. So even things that we thought we knew, like Google Maps, are radically transforming. Things that we thought we knew, like Google Search, is now radically transforming. You know, it was always the case that when I had a question, I could ask that question to Google. If I wanted to know what is a good restaurant in Paris, I could turn on Google and it would give me that answer. And it was there only when I asked it a question. But now increasingly, with your permission, Google can be an assisting companion constantly on behind the scenes. So now, with my permission, when I opt in, I can do a search in Google that says, when will my package arrive? Google now knows that I ordered a package from Amazon. It knows that the FedEx tracking says it will arrive tomorrow, and it says my package was shipped yesterday, in this case from a Crate and Barrel store in San Francisco, and it will arrive at my house tomorrow. That's a whole new definition of search, very different than how we thought we knew it with what's a good hotel or restaurant in Paris. And increasingly with our Google Now product, it's not only reacting to what I have contextually, but it can assist me when I travel proactively. So recently I was flying from San Francisco to New York, and my flight was delayed and my gate was changed, and Google Now told me that in advance. It sent me a message and said, we know what your itinerary is because you gave us permission, Jim. Your flight has been delayed and the gate is now changed, right? So things we thought we knew are very different. TV, now Chromecast, online is offline, offline is online. Maps that were outdoor are now indoor. Search is now not just off until I ask it a question, but it's constantly on, assisting and suggesting things to me that are relevant. And even the mobile computing device that we thought we knew as a normal now has a new normal. This is our mayor in the city of Chicago, Rahm Emanuel. When I showed him Google Glass for the very first time, I took that picture as he saw pictures, videos, email, information coming to him through Google Glass. So the form factor of a plastic Lexan glass and Kevlar mobile phone may be changing as we move into this new normal moving forward. So we think a lot at Google about what does that mean in a world where change is so rapid, where these kinds of things are becoming the new normal, and we need to be digital leaders, guide our clients, help get deep consumer insights, and build marketing campaigns in this world, in this new normal. What does that mean for each of you? Well, as we've shown here, and as you well know, the new normal is changing how buyers behave, how shopping decisions are made, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And importantly, it's changing how you build brands and how you market and sell brands. The old playbook will no longer be sufficient in the new normal. So what is your new playbook? Many of you are entering annual planning season, starting to think about TV broadcast upfronts, starting to think about your 2015 marketing plans. That will be a plan that needs to be built in the world of the new normal. How are you thinking about changing the way you build brands? Things that were the new normal changed very much in 2014. Thinking about building brands, there's our friend Eugenio with El Fan Trainer with the World Cup campaign for P&G. Think about that. 10 million people chose, not were forced, they chose to watch a 3-minute advertising piece about Oral-B toothbrush. That's the new normal, right? People choose to watch motivating, powerful content in the new normal. So looking back on 2014 as we move to 2015, I think we probably all could agree that because of World Cup and the great work like this and all the great campaigns that many of you have done in the region, that brand building using digital has now become part of the new normal. It's what's normal moving forward, and I expect to see many and hope to see many great brand building digital campaigns, digital brand building campaigns from you all moving forward in the new normal in 2015. So in light of that backdrop or that context about what the new normal looks like and will look like moving forward, I thought I'd offer you for the remainder of my time together here today 5 thoughts or 5 questions to help you think about how you can become a digital leader building brands in this era of the new normal looking forward. So we'll go through each of these, but quickly, they are how embedded is digital, not in your advertising, but in your business overall. Are you winning the moments that matter, the key moments of truth? How are you being a digital leader by creating an army of brand advocates for your brand? And are you breaking through historical channel boundaries in the old normal and creating new normal channels? And then most importantly, are you fostering this notion of speed, of being fast, agile, and thinking what we at Google call 10X, radically transformational thinking in the world of the new normal? So let's go through each of those one at a time. Starting with, is digital embedded in your business? Now, I know most of you in the room, myself included, we spend most of our time thinking about media, marketing, advertising, ad campaigns, brand building campaigns, and how do we make those digital and talk to our consumers in a digital world. But I also want to impress upon you that being a digital leader is not just about advertising. It's about embedding digital into your business. So you all know this game? This game was invented in 1928. It is? Awake after lunch? Monopoly, of course, right? So you know this game. You all play this as kids. You play this with your family. You count the money out. You each get the properties. And then you go around the board. And at some point, your brother cheats you out of some money when he was giving you the change from the bank. And then you get in a fight with your family. And you know how this goes, right? So this is a game that's almost 100 years old. 100 years old. And so how does it be relevant in the new normal? And so what these guys thought of at Parker Brothers was, wow, in the world of the new normal, everyone is always connected. They have their mobile phones, they have their tablets with them all the time. So what if we could embed digital into the heart of this game and eliminate the cards and the cash and the money and the pieces and all of that, and the entire game takes place on your tablet that you set in the middle of the board. And then you have a smart card as a player, and you just tap in, and that gives you your money. When you want to buy a property, you tap it in, and it debits your credit card. They're essentially debit cards for everyone. So it's called the Zapped edition of Monopoly, and this was one of the big Christmas gift items globally last Christmas and has continued to be ever since. But this is a brilliant example of reinventing a classic 100-year-old product to put digital at the heart of your brand. And as a result, you see this is the new normal, right? How many 5-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 6-year-olds in this case do you see who are totally fluent with using a mobile device or a tablet, right? So they're totally comfortable using an iPad in this context. This was a brilliant idea of being a digital leader by transforming your product, by digitizing the product not just the advertising campaign around it. And there's lots of good ideas like this. One of my favorites is made by Philips Lighting. This product is called the Hue light bulb. It's available at Home Depot here in town and everywhere online. You can get it from Amazon. But it connects your lighting to your smartphone. So you screw those light bulbs in, you connect that little round white device in the lower right-hand corner to your home Wi-Fi network, and now you can control all the lights from your smartphone. So you're on vacation, you can turn them on, turn them off. As you're pulling into your driveway, you can turn them on. And the coolest feature is because they're digital lights, you can slide the color to make it go from red to yellow to orange to green to purple to blue lighting. Right? So this is the world of the new normal, and this is in reinventing the classic light bulb, also a 100-year-old product, to be relevant and exciting in the world of the new normal. Home thermostat, we recently purchased Nest Technologies, Nest Labs. So these guys make a Wi-Fi enabled smart thermostat to control the temperature in your house. That's in Fahrenheit, by the way. That would be a little warm in my house in Celsius. But control it with your smartphone as well, and it learns over time and uses energy much more efficiently. So that's another way of reinventing a 100-year-old product to be a digital leader. But perhaps my favorite is this. Have you guys seen the 9450 basketball? So this basketball has a series of sensors inside the ball so that when I dribble the ball and shoot, it tracks the path of the ball and shows the arc on my smartphone and tells me as a coach, oh, I shot it too low, I shot it too high, I shot it too fast, I shot it too slow. And I can play against other players, I can play multi-game, and I can play against some of the greats like Michael Jordan and others in the world. So that's, again, reinventing a 100-year-old simple product to be a leader and relevant for the digital generation in the world of the new normal. So I'd ask you to go back after this conference, and as you're talking with your clients, if you're on the agency side or if you're a marketer here yourself, really think about, before you get to the conversation of digital advertising, really challenge yourselves, especially in your 2015 plan. How is digital being embedded into your core products and your business itself? And then once it is, that brings us to the next question, which is, are you winning the key moments that matter, or the moments of truth? And so if you think about this, I think we all learned a traditional moments that matter model, where we would put a piece of stimulus, radio, TV, outdoor, newspaper advertising out there. It would tell people about our product and send them to the so-called first moment of truth, the point of purchase. Here's our new car. Isn't it terrific looking? Please come test drive one at a dealer near you. Here's our new credit card. Come into the branch of my bank in your neighborhood and apply for one now. So we would send people from stimulus to the first moment of truth. Then they would decide to buy the product. Then they would take it home and use it in the second moment of truth. And it would either live up to the expectations or it wouldn't, right? All the expectations that they had from your advertising from the stimulus. And so we know how this works. If you need a new oven in your house, this is a very fancy oven, fancier than the oven I have in my house, but let's say you need a new oven or stove in your house, what would you do? Well, maybe you're reading a magazine and you're looking here for how to bring feng shui decorating into your house. Maybe you're looking for some quick dinner ideas, cenas rapidas, right? And so as you're thumbing through it, maybe you come across an ad for a nice, fancy, high-end appliance, like this great ad from our friends at KitchenAid from Whirlpool, Mexico, and you would say to yourself, interesting, great. I know a local outlet, a local store who sells KitchenAid appliances, so stimulus drives me to the first moment of truth. I would go in, I would look at it, I would talk to the salesperson, I would either buy one or not, and then I would take it home, and he would either make a wonderfully delicious turkey dinner, or it would not. If it wouldn't, it would probably be my fault, not the fabulous oven. Right, so this is stimulus, first moment, second moment. And that's how we all learn to build media plans in the world of the old normal. But now think for a moment about all that I showed you at the beginning of this conversation about the new normal, about more people being connected in Mexico than not connected, about people spending as much or more time online as with TV in Mexico moving forward, right? Marge Simpson says it best for all of us, right? When she's at the auto dealer and she's got her smartphone, her high-end mobile phone with her, right then and there, right? She can get information, she can read reviews, she can check the ratings, she can see if she can find a better price anywhere. So if Marge Simpson can do it, everyone can do it, right? But this is not the old normal, right? That was not in the 3-moment model that I just showed you. So in fact, this is the new 4-moment model. This moment of truth that happens after someone sees your print ad, after someone sees your TV commercial, but before they get to the store, before they get to the car dealer, or even at the car dealer, while they're reading ratings, reviews, learning more about it, seeing what their friends think, searching for more information, asking questions on Facebook, tweeting about it. All of that's happening prior or before the first moment of truth. So since it happens before the first moment of truth, we at Google have coined this momento cero de la verdad, the 0 moment of truth. And so think about that to be a digital leader. P&G wrote about this. A.G. Lafley, their chairman, in his most recent annual shareholders letter. He said, we, P&G, have to win the first moment of truth. We've always been good at the first moment of truth. We've always been good at the second moment of truth. But increasingly for us at P&G to continue to be a digital leader, our brands have to win the 0 moment of truth. So I ask you to think about that. Are you winning the 0 moment of truth? You can find this at thinkwithgoogle.com, free copy of our book. I just published a new article at Think with Google today, this morning, with some new information about Momento Zero. I encourage you to think about this. It's free as you're building your plans for 2015 to be a new leader in digital. Are you winning the moments that matter? Okay, so now you know what the new normal looks like. You've embedded digital into your business. You understand the moments that matter. You have a plan to win Momento Zero. So now what? The next question is, how, as a digital leader, are you creating brand advocates? You know, you've heard this phrase, a brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. A brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And as brand marketers, we're in the room often. We're in the room when we're on TV in their living room with an ad. We're in the room talking when they're tweeting about us, when we're tweeting about ourselves, when people are watching our YouTube videos. But what about when you're not there? What can you do to be a digital leader to build brand ambassadors or brand leaders? So this was a thought that we had when we worked with Volkswagen earlier this year. And Volkswagen, of course, a tremendous global brand, a digital leader in many respects, a beloved brand, but a brand that always wants to create more brand ambassadors and be a better digital leader. So we work with them and their agency to create a very interesting program where we essentially gamified driving through a mobile app where we gave points for different activities, and you could see where your ranking was versus other VW drivers. And importantly, the brand made a great decision to not just limit it to VW owners, but to open this game and this technology up to any driver as a way of inviting them into the Volkswagen franchise, even if you didn't own a VW. So let's take a look at a short video that explains what VW and Google did earlier this year to build brand advocates.
What if every time you started your car, you added a little more fun to the ride? Introducing Smile Drive, the first social app to maximize fun on every drive. Smile Drive is designed to work with any car, even if it's not a Volkswagen. And it can connect through Bluetooth, which lets it pair in the background when you're driving. The app keeps track of things like distance, time, and weather. And remember Punch Dub? You get a punch when you pass another Volkswagen with Smile Drive. All the fun of the classic game, none of the dead arms. You can also unlock stickers for special achievements, like going on an extra long ride, passing a car that looks exactly like yours, or hitting the road on a holiday. At the end of each drive, you'll get a smile score, which sums up everything that happened on the road. Let's say you're about to go on a trip you know you'll want to share. You can make a smile cast. First, you name the trip and tag your passengers. Then, when you're on the road, your Smilecast page automatically gets updated with photos and posts so your friends and family can follow the trip online. And after the trip's over, the Smilecast is saved so you can relive the adventure all over again. No matter where you're going, with Smile Drive, you can sit back, enjoy the road, and go for happier drives.
Okay, so that's how Volkswagen is trying to be a digital leader by creating advocates for their brand, even when they're not there themselves. It's an opportunity to create a brand advocate on every drive from every car, for every driver. So ask yourself, what are you doing to create brand advocates? So the fourth top tip out of my 5 top tips to be a digital leader is, are you breaking channel boundaries? Channel boundaries. Now, you know, you've all had this conversation, I'm sure, in your own companies with your own clients. That's the digital team's job. That's the TV team's job. That's the store team's job. That's the online team's job. That's the catalogs team's job. That's the social team's job. We have all of these different groups that have their own silos or their own niches. But of course, to a customer, to a consumer, to an end user, it's just all your brand. So what are you doing to break down those boundaries in the world of the new normal? So I use the Juicy Couture brand as an example of this. Now, this is a young brand as far as brand standards go, certainly compared to some of the other high-end fashion brands, Chanel and others that have been around for many, many years. But Juicy Couture did a very interesting thing recently, where they hired top Hollywood director Terry Richardson. There he is. You can tell he's a top director from his tattoos. And they had him make a short film. It's about 7 minutes long, and it stars Victoria's Secret model Candace Swanepoel. And it's a daydream that she has in the course of her day in Hollywood, California. And as the video plays on YouTube, every time Candace is wearing an item from the new Juicy Couture collection from their fall catalog, this white box appears on the screen on YouTube. And if you can see here, it's a direct link to learn more about the products that she's wearing and buy those products from juicycouture.com. So I ask you, what exactly is this? Is this brand awareness? Is this image advertising? Is it direct response? Is it performance advertising? Is it video? Is it catalog? Is it social? Yeah, I guess it's all of those things, all in one, right? So now I ask you to ask yourself, in your company, could you do something like this, right? Because it now requires my TV team, my video team, my sponsorship team, my catalog team, my website team, my PR team to all collaborate in this world of the new normal to put a program like this together. Are you able to break channel and silo boundaries to create programs like this to be a digital leader in the new normal? Another way, several other fashion brands, in this case Rebecca Minkoff, Diane von Furstenberg, and others, have done shoppable hangouts on air on Google. So you're familiar with the Google Hangout. It works like this. The fashion designer comes on, invites her fans to join her in the Hangout, and on the right-hand side of the screen, while we're hearing from the fashion designer herself about her new fall collection, each of the items in the collection appear in almost catalog page form on the right, so that those in the Hangout or those who watch the Hangout later on YouTube are able to purchase those products. So again, what is something like this? There's the famous designer Diane von Furstenberg in her Hangout. Is this direct response television? Sort of. Is it catalog? Sort of. Is it online e-commerce? Sort of. Is it PR? Sort of. But what it is it's breaking channel boundaries and creating new ways to interact with your target audience in the world of the new normal. So I ask you, are you breaking channel boundaries? And the last top tip is all about speed. You guys know this better than anyone. In the world of digital, things move very quickly. Are you moving with 10x fast and agile speed? And so I'm a big fan of this book you may have read by Eric Ries called The Lean Startup. I strongly suggest that you put this on your tablet and have a look at it here before you do your 2015 planning. But it's all about test, learn, and iterate, rapid iteration, testing and refining, learning quickly and iterating fast. And that's the mindset that as digital leaders you need to have moving forward. Now, some of it is the technology that allows you to interact and be fast. Google Docs is how we run our own entire business here at Google. So now there's no more, who has the last version of the media plan? Where is it? Can you email it to me? I didn't get the attachment. I can't open the attachment, right? It's all in Google Docs as a way to simplify and speed up collaboration and help you be faster, because that's critical to being a digital leader. But when it comes to being a leader and it comes to being best in class, that brings us to this guy, who is Ron Burgundy. Ron Burgundy. The great marketer that he is, Ron Burgundy. And I want to tell you a quick story about how the Chrysler team and Ron Burgundy, literally the actor Will Ferrell, practice this fast and agile thinking. So when they introduced last fall this new truck, the SUV, the Dodge Durango, Will Ferrell, dressed in character as Ron Burgundy, came into the studio and filmed in one day 70 ads. 70 TV commercials in one day. 70. I ask you, for those of you in the TV business, could you make 70 TV commercials in 1 year, much less in one day for your brand? But it wasn't just about the fact that they made 70. They did something very, very interesting. They then put all 70 of those ads up on YouTube and let them run for a couple of weeks to see which ones got a better response, which ones got more favorable comments, which ones got watched to the end and which ones got skipped, which ones got passed along to friends and which ones didn't. And they used that in order to determine which 3 commercials went on their national TV campaign. So it was a way of using fast, agile research learning, using YouTube as a focus group in a certain sense, in order to maximize their big TV spending. That's the 70 spots. And I want to show you the one that rose to the top that was the #1 spot of all 70 that ran on YouTube and got the most TV airtime. And it's the one where Will Ferrell, Ron Burgundy, talks about the miles per gallon, or MPG, of this car.
On my right is the new Dodge Durango. She's got it all, including 25 mpgs highway. What? Mpg. Mpgs. Mpgs? Mpgs. MPGs? 25 mpgs. I'm saying it right, but it just doesn't sound familiar.
All right, thank you, Ron. So now you can all go home and talk about how many mpgs your car gets. Mpgs. But that's a great way of using YouTube to help you be fast and agile to be a digital leader moving forward. And the last thought is this sort of notion of 10x thinking. 10x thinking. So we use this idea at Google of trying to solve very hard problems. We call them moonshots. Not just doing incremental gains, but doing big gains. And so you may be familiar with our driverless car project called Project Chauffeur, where we're trying to solve arguably one of the most difficult computer science problems in the world, which is how to make a car drive by itself. And if you think about all the different variables and inputs that a human driver does here, how can a machine do that well, and how could a machine do that better? And so that's one of the things that we're working on, to have a big thought to not just be incrementally better next year, but to be radically better next year. And oh, by the way, these cars have driven hundreds of thousands of accident-free, safe miles on roads all around the world, and in many parts of the U.S. are already licensed to be driven by actual users on the road in California, Nevada, and other places. But I want you to think about doing something big and revolutionary next year. Not just what we did this year a little bit better or incrementally better, but say to yourself, why can't we make a car drive by itself? Or why can't we give everyone in the world free access to the internet? Well, because then we'd have to launch a satellite, and satellites are expensive, and blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe not, right? What we're doing here is putting weather balloons up with Wi-Fi access in Africa and New Zealand and places like this. That's a radically different way of thinking about the world. And that's what it means to be a digital leader. And so I'd ask you to go back and say to yourself and challenge your team. How can we transform radically what we're doing? Be fast, nimble, and agile, but also think big moving forward. And so I ask you, are you doing that as part of your plan? So when it all comes together, what does it look like to be a digital leader? Well, we at Google have been very honored and pleased to be in many markets around the world named as a leading digital brand. And so I wanted to end with showing you one of the ads that we've done to talk about how we think about being a digital leader here at Google. It's not in English, it's not in Spanish. This is an ad that takes place in India and Pakistan. And a quick bit of background for you. In 1948, when India gained its independence from Britain, it was actually divided into 2 countries that we now know today as Pakistan and India. And that was a good thing in many respects, but it was also painful because based on where you lived, where the border was drawn, families were divided, neighborhoods were divided, and friends were divided. And so now that there's freer access between those 2 countries today, we put this together to show the story about how Google can bring the power of digital to people like this. Have a look.
ये मैं, ये यूसुफ लंगोटिया यार सी मेरा। लाहौर में हमारे घर के सामने एक बड़ा बाग था। उस बाग का गेट बाबा आदम के ज़माने। रोज शाम को हमने वहाँ पतंगे उड़ानी और उसके बाद जाके यूसुफ की दुकान से झझरिया चुरा के खानी।
झझरिया?
और मेरा साहब नमस्ते।
नमस्ते, मेरी पोती मुंबई वाली।
और बेटे क्या हाल चाल है? बचपन की तंग गली फिर से कूदे फांदे, छोटी छोटी मीठी चोरी गांठ लेके बांधे।
हेलो, अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
फाजिल स्वीट्स?
हाँ जी। दादाजान, दिल्ली से किसी की कॉल है।
हेलो,
यूसुफ अंकल?
कौन?
जी मैं सुमन बोल रही हूँ दिल्ली से, आपके बचपन के दोस्त बलदेव जी की पोती। याद है बचपन में आप दोनों झझरिया चुरा के खाते थे?
बचपन की तंग गली फिर से कूदे फांदे, छोटी छोटी मीठी चोरी गांठ लेके बांधे। एक पतंग सा उड़ता था परिंदों की तरह, परिंदों की तरह, परिंदों की तरह। एक दौर था मन मन मोर था, एक दौर था मन मन मोर था।
पार्टीशन के वक्त हम रातों रात हिंदुस्तान आ गए।
दादू?
यूसुफ दी बड़ी याद आती।
कागजों की कश्तियों में डूबा रहता था, झांकती खिड़कियों में उलझा रहता था। वो भी क्या दौर था, मन पे न जोर था। एक दौर था मन मन मोर था, एक दौर था मन मन मोर था।
भैया थोड़ा जल्दी।
मन मोर।
हाँ जी, कौन? हैप्पी बर्थडे यारा। यूसुफ वो यूसुफ मेरे बल्लू यूसुफ यार।
And that's the power of digital. That's what being a digital leader means. That's the power each of you have to change lives, one life at a time, through what each of us do. Be a digital leader. Take these 5 top tips as you go back for 2015, and I wish you the best of success and say namaste. Thank you.
Jim, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Wonderful example at the end.
Thank you.
Very touching. Si tiene alguien alguna pregunta, por favor, igualmente los invitamos a que se acerquen a los micrófonos para poder acercársela a Jim. Jim, creo que tenemos una primera pregunta. I think we have a first question.
Yes. Hello, Jim.
Hi.
This is Chris from Grupo Televisa. I have one question. How can you make key decisions to launch a new product? And also, when you want to present a new product to a financial department or stakeholders, and you have like 2 different models, like big data with all the information that you have in one hand, but in the other hand, you make prototypes to test a new product, like you said, with lean startups.
Yep.
How can you make key decisions to launch a new product? And also convince how can this be done or be monetized at the same time?
Yeah. So Chris, thank you for your question. So in terms of using big data to launch a new product, to learn about it, one of the things that we always recommend doing is using Google search data, which you can find at Google Trends. You can search for that, Google Trends. So for example, we had a conversation with a client recently in the personal care cosmetic space, and you can see we showed that searches for coconut oil are rapidly rising in countries all around the world. And so that sparked an idea in their head that said, oh, maybe we could introduce a new lotion, a new cosmetic, that it has coconut oil as a key ingredient. So that's a way of using big data, using Google search trends. We have 100 billion searches a month, 100 billion searches a month. That's an amazing focus group to help you do that. At the same time, rapid iteration, launch and iterate, is also important. We use both models to build our new products. You'll often see us with betas or alphas out in the marketplace, and those are often quick launches in order to get some user reaction and iterate it. And the magic happens when you have big data as well as rapid field-tested iteration that point you towards a successful new product.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Gracias. Jim, I have another question.
Yes.
Oh my God.
¿Hay otra pregunta? No.
Here I have one.
There's another one, please.
Oh, thank you. It's about the Smile Drive application. I think we all here were so amazed that first, a common trip from a car could be so amazing and can turn completely the experience of being in a car. But I was really impressed about the thing that they didn't mention. Well, it was developed by Volkswagen, powered by Google, but it can be used in another brand of car. It doesn't matter if it's not a Volkswagen. I think that's the most impressive thing about it, because it really solves the thing that you were saying about that what people think about it, about a brand, it's when they leave the room. So a question could be, how do you think that the brands could be go out with a room and talking well about them? Another example of kind of that about the Smile Drive. And I was thinking also, maybe this is not so a question, but about the balloons that are in Africa that could offer free internet Wi-Fi to people. I think that it's so great because it's a great initiative for Google, but of course there's a lot of people over there that doesn't even have electric powers to get access to a device that could be access to internet. So yeah. I think that would be my question and my comment.
Yeah, no, thank you for your question and your comment. Sure, and that's why we're working with good partners. You'll hear from Coca-Cola next. There might be a way that other partners could provide solar charging for mobile devices, and then we could provide the access. So we don't look at ourselves as by any means the entire solution, but if we can offer just a piece of the solution, you can see the powerful personal experiences like this one in India that can result as a result of bringing people access online, and we're proud and pleased to be able to even do a small part of that every day.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have a third question, please.
Yes, hello.
Hi, Jim. This is Adeline from Discovery Communications.
Hello, Adeline.
How are you? Since Google is a leader in actually creating the future, what would you predict would be the future of the merging between our traditional television networks and what is really the future of digital? Because we know we can't compete anymore. It's about collaboration.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see pieces of this now where you have behind-the-scenes content, other things available online as augmentations to TV series that you see. I think you see TV series that were no longer on air on the network are now seeing second life happening on the web. So I think interactivity is another piece of this. Many of the talent competitions, you now have interactive voting, and I think that will only continue to grow. I think the next one I would expect to see, and I don't have any special information here, but people voting on what is the next plot development, right? What happens next in the series plot, not just who stays and who goes as a contestant, but what should be the next twist or turn in the plot. So it'd be interesting to see what happens now that you've got this real-time interactivity or a second or third screen in many cases. But again, I'm a big believer that TV is a proud, powerful, useful, relevant, and here for the long-term medium. So it's not about digital or TV. It's about how do you use TV and digital and all the other tools as brand leaders and marketers to achieve your brand and marketing objectives together.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just one last
Yes.
question. Who should answer the question about breaking the channel boundaries? The CMO, the COO, or the CEO?
Yeah, well, obviously it works best when there's alignment
Of
among
course.
all of those. But to the extent that you share my belief, which is that the role of the chief marketing officer is to be the company's chief growth officer, the CMO's job is to drive top-line revenue. And if this, a new channel, a new combination, breaking silos, results in driving new revenue, I would believe it's the CMO's job to champion it and bring along and convince the rest of the enterprise, including the CEO.
Okay, thank you. Un fuerte aplauso, por favor, para nuestro conferencista Jim.
Muchas
Muchísimas
gracias.
gracias. Thank you very much.